Well, as you can see, we need to cut our pastures. It's been a great spring, lots of rain, things have grown really beautifully and lush, but these grasses are a little past the point of needing to be cut. They've already gone to seed. So going to get in here and bush hog the pastures. But one of the things we have needed to do is figure out a cheap and easy way to try and gather up these grasses so that we can put them in the barn. We use them throughout the year, these cut grasses, as the bedding or the mulch in our chicken coop that we end up composting and using in the garden. But to look online and look at implements for the tractor, we're talking anywhere from $400 to up to thousands of dollars for that kind of equipment. We just don't have that kind of acreage, big enough acreage. So my plan is to try and do a do-it-yourself, make something my own design, and make something that I can just attach to the bucket, the front of the tractor, and push and rake the cut grass. And this is what we're going to use is these rake teeth from Tractor Supply, about $1.99 a piece, and attach on about a 5-foot 4x4 post. Going to put 7 of them on there. So the first thing we got to do is deal with this cant that is in here, because we're going to put a bolt through here onto the post, which I'll show you. But the first thing I got to go do is we're going to heat this up with a torch and bend this back so that it's in line with the tooth, so that when I attach it or bolt it through the post, this will actually go straight back instead of being at an angle. So let's go do that first, and then we'll show you putting this together. Okay, so we've got all 7 of these bent now. The next thing we've got to do is lay out on this 4x4 post where we're going to put them in. So what we're doing is measuring 1.25 inches in and 1 inch apart, and then we're going to drill the holes so that these will go in here like so, with the bolt going through here, and I'll show you that in a second. But just taking, pretty simple, just taking 1 inch wide chisel. That should get us, yep, just down below the surface. This last little bit. And so then the next thing to do is just to mark for our drill bit. And since these are 3/8 inch bolts we're using, got a 3/8 inch spade. Just like that. So got 5 more to do, and then we'll finish this thing up and I'll show you putting it on the tractor. This is the prototype for our rake, or the rake. It's not really a prototype. We're not going to make a bunch of them. So we just took this 4x4 post and clamped it onto the front of the bucket. This is a 4-in-1 bucket, but it works well in that, you know, with the hydraulics, we can adjust the height of how far we put these teeth down, so we can put them right down onto the ground or in the ground almost, and then basically push along and make either get as much as we can. Ideally, it would sort of roll up inside the bucket as we're pushing it. Problem is the gap between the teeth is too big. So Isaac is going to go out and heat up and bend a number more of these. So where we've got these about 10 inches apart, we're going to add 2 more teeth in between each of these. Hopefully that'll be enough, and they'll be close enough together that when you're raking the grass, it can't fall in between there. I hoped that the grasses would be long enough that they would kind of get caught up and not fall between here, but that wasn't the case. They'd start pulling through there. So with more teeth, I think this is really going to work. So Isaac's going to do that. I'm going to go cut another pasture, and then once we get that done, we'll hopefully shoot a video of the finished product of this and see how it works. Well, as I say, necessity is the mother of invention. So could not let this project go, and the other cliche, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. So the first iteration of this design, we didn't have enough teeth in the tractor, it didn't work. second iteration of it with more teeth on the front end loader of the tractor. It worked a little bit better. It still didn't work well. And more importantly, I was starting to realize it just wasn't going to be efficient to run the tractor back and forth. That was just going to be time consuming and not an efficient use of the tractor. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the hay chariot. Sam is modeling for us, but we took the post, this same post, and added an 8-foot. We just happened to have an 8-foot 4x4 post around. Put a 2-inch tongue, trailer hitch tongue on the front of it. We got that from Walmart for 22 bucks. Took these tires off of one of the boys' bicycles that wasn't really being used and working very well. Put a 3/8-inch lag bolt through here. It's an 8-inch long lag bolt, 3/8 inch in diameter. So we ran that into here with some washers on it on both ends. Used some T-brackets to hold these things together, these posts together, with a lag bolt through the back end of it. But hop off for a second, Sam. If you look at this, the teeth go down farther than the bottom of the tire, but as this thing drags, these springs go back, and they pull back pretty well and to where they're on the ground. And what happens is that this wheel prevents these tines from going much farther down into the ground, so that they go down into the ground. They're dethatching at the same time, so we could use this as a dethatcher as well, but they just keep the tines from going too far down into the ground. I didn't want to put them the tires at the same height as the tines, because the field is uneven. So I figure as they're bent back a little bit, if we hit a place where maybe there's a divot or a dip in the field in between the tires, if the tines are deeper, going further down, they'll spring forward and still catch more of the grasses. But we've done about 1/3 of the field already, that you can see, and it really has gotten all the hay off of it. So we have a windrow at the far end of grasses that we've pushed up there, and then you can see right here that we've also got another windrow up here of grasses that'll go into this old barn. Samuel told me I forgot to tell you about the seat. So yeah, we just happen to have an old seat from the bass boat that wasn't being used, so we just screwed this on here. And part of the reason being is that without it, if it's a little bit bumpy, we were losing some grasses underneath it. So just having that, I mean, we could put some weight on there, but one of the things you'll see is that when we get to the end of the row, it's nice to have somebody on here because they're putting a little bit of weight on it to catch more of the hay. But when we get to the other end and we're turning this around, the only bad thing about it right now in terms of design is you got to lift it up a little bit and push the hay off of these teeth and turn it around. It's a little bit easier to do with somebody back here. So is that going to be you this time? Isaac will film you ride. Yes? All right, here we go. Okay, well, we got the entire field raked. Big difference. Better than using
hand rakes.
Hand rakes?
Yeah.
A lot better when your mom gets you out here to clean up or get the rakes out here to get it. Well, the hay chariot, the chariot, or as their mom said when she came out and laughed, the redneck rake. It works. Works pretty well. I mean, obviously for our purposes, for about 60 bucks, which if you had to buy the 4x4s and, well, if you needed to put a seat on it, it would obviously be a little bit more. But for us, for 60 bucks, it wasn't anything on Craigslist. I've been checking for a while to see if there was anything that would be an actual hay gathering implement that would be pretty cheap. There wasn't. Everything minimum was $1,000. You know, we might at some other point do something, but for now, this thing actually works. You can see we've got piles of hay. We pulled it. We basically just went back and forth and then dumped it and went back and made windrows at each end of the field. Isaac went along with pitchfork and already has it in piles, so we'll get it into the barn. But anyways, it works. I can't say it would work for everybody, and I'm sure if somebody built it, they might have issues with it. But for us, for our purposes, and we needed something now to get this grass into the barn, it worked, right?
Yeah.
How was it riding on the back?
It was fun, but really dusty.
Really dusty. Yeah, probably needed a dust mask. All right, well, that's it. I'm going to go get in a quick run before the sun completely goes down, and then it's time for an icy cold fermented beverage, a dip in the pool, and tacos tonight, right? I think it's tacos. All right, till the next video, take care. God bless. You guys want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Yeah.